What's up, everyone? This is yugioh 1919, and today we're going to go over the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh! For beginners. Now, first off, I would recommend getting a structure deck or a starter deck for the simple fact it obviously comes with this rule book here, which goes over the guidelines of what to do about normal summons and using your spells and traps, and also special summons. So, when you get one, just be sure to look over this, and also they will come with a game mat, which the ones that they come with are paperback. This one is a rubber back that I got. And let's go over some of the basics of what we're looking at right now. This is obviously your main deck zone, so we're going to take our main deck and we're going to place it right there, and all the way over to the far end, which, sorry about this, it's a little bit short for what I got. This is the extra deck zone. So we're going to take our extra deck and lay it right there. And this green zone up here to the far left on the top is your field spell. And this gray area to the far right top is the graveyard. And as you can see, you have 5 spell and trap zones, and you have 5 monster zones. Okay. So, to start off a duel, you need to draw 5 cards. Let's see here. Alright, we've drawn our 5 cards. Depending on who goes first, let's just say that we're going to start a duel. We would draw 1 card. You're only allowed to draw 1 card every turn. And a little bit about the phases also, and it's also written across here. You have your draw phase, which says draw 1 card from your deck. We have your standby phase, only used when a card mentions it. Main phase 1 is when you can normal set or summon a monster and play your spell or trap cards. And your 4th stage is the battle phase. This is when you make all your attacks. Main phase 2 is normal summon or set if you hadn't done it during your main phase 1. End phase is basically when you end your turn, and then your opponent, they start these steps, and so on and so forth. So let's get started right now. To normal summon, you have to have a monster who is level 4 or lower. And to normal summon, you would play your card like so. If you set, you cannot play your card face up. That's a no-no. If you want to set, you play your card face down into defense mode. Now, also, if you wanted to, we have a spell card. We can play that face down, save it for later. So, let's say we've already got, let's see, I believe we have, give me just a minute, shuffle my deck a little too much. Let's say we already have 2 monsters on the field. Now you're ready for a tribute summon. Monster's level basically determines whether it needs to be tribute summoned or not. If it is a level 5 or a 6, it only requires 1 tribute. Level 7 or higher requires 2 or more, depending on what the card says. Since we have a level 8 normal monster, we're going to have to tribute 2 cards. So, let's get ready. We will take our 2 cards here, and we'll send them to the graveyard, so we can play our level 8 monster. Or, if you want to, whenever you get ready to play it, if you don't want it in attack position, play it face down in defense, like we mentioned earlier. But right now, we're going to have it face up. Now, we're ready to use this ritual card that we laid earlier. This is how you're going to ritual summon. You're going to take the the ritual monster you have in your hand, which is this one, who is a level 8. We have to tribute monsters from our hand or field whose stars equal his stars. Since we just so happen to have one on the field, let's go ahead and use him. So we'll take him, put him in our graveyard, and now we just ritual summoned. This card obviously goes to the graveyard now. And a ritual summon is also considered a special summon. Now, let's backtrack a little bit to if we didn't ritual summon. Got everything set up like it was. And if you want to fusion summon, we will use this card, Polymerization, which basically says fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as the fusion materials. We have 1 on our field and 2 in our hand. So we're going to try and fusion summon. So here we go. Just play that. Now we send these 2 along with this one on the field to the graveyard. And now we go through our extra deck. A fusion monster. And we play them right there. Now, special summon monsters, if you want to put them in defense mode, they can be face up. Just when you do your normal or your tribute summon, they have to be face down. In this case, we get to put them face up. So, now let's talk a little bit about our spell and trap card zone. I went over setting some cards and stuff until you're ready to use them. But this zone up here, the field zone, what if we want to use a field spell? Field spell basically has 4 points up here, and obviously it goes right there. This card basically works just like the polymerization that we just used, except if we want to fusion summon, we banish the cards from our hand or our side of the field. And the thing about this card is it goes for both players, but right now we're just going to talk about just player 1. So if we wanted to fusion summon, and we had the cards in our hand or on the field, such as these 3, we would banish them, which is when you put them face down in your graveyard. Like so. And then we get to fusion summon our monster. Now, let's get in a little bit more about our trap cards. This one is a continuous trap, which basically means as long as it's face up on the field, it stays there until a spell, trap, or monster effect destroys it. Now, the thing about traps, they have to stay face down in the spell and trap zone for at least 1 turn before you can activate them. This is a normal trap, which means it can be activated at any time, but this card in particular only activates when your opponent attacks you. So, now we got our traps face down. It's already been 1 turn, so now we can activate this card. And it's going to stay on the field, obviously. But this one, in particular, brings back a monster from the graveyard. And if we ended, and our opponent tries to attack either monster, and we don't want them to, we'll activate Mirror Force, which basically destroys all of your opponent's attack position monsters. Now, if your opponent only has 1 attack position, and the rest are defense, the defense monsters will not be destroyed. So let's talk a little bit about the symbols on some of these cards. This symbol here, I think you can see it, is a kind of like a lightning bolt, which means it's a quick play. So basically, any spell card you can activate right out of your hand, but a quick play, how to use the quick part about it is you play it face down on the field, and even if it's your opponent's turn and you need to use it, you can activate it. Well, I think that's about got everything down for part 1. Our next video will go a little more detail into how to do a little bit more with spells and traps, and also we'll get into synchro and XZ summoning. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Thanks.